Hopefully it'll be a good read. It's low on my reading list, 20 books in maybe. Religion Within the Limits of Reason Alone, Immanuel Kant. Look at that, for $1. That's a pretty good sized bunch of bull crap. Reason alone, limiting what religion could do. That, you know what that's called? It's called atheism. Bertrand Russell, The Problems of Philosophy. Unfortunately, this is the first book of Bertrand Russell's that I have, I think. So now, finally, proud owner of a book by Bertrand Russell for $1. Hegel's Philosophy of Right. I have this same binding and copy back in Utah, which I bought brand new for like $12 or $14 way back in high school. Translated by T.M. Knox. Commercial Banking in the United States, a history. A history of banking, ladies and gentlemen. How exciting is that? By Benjamin J. Kleibonker. Copyright 1974. That'll be a good read, I feel. Thomas Fleming's author of... Oh, this is Washington's Secret War by Thomas Fleming. I read the name first, up there as it is. The Hidden History of Valley Forge. This is a fine binding and a good book. $27.95. Doesn't look like it's been read. If it has been read, it was by someone who's very, very careful with it. And this is a leftist bullshit interpretation of the stuff, you know, saying, oh, we all come to believe all this crap about it when actually Washington wanted to give up, and which is true, he did, you know, but they really, really stress the anti-American side, and oh, we got to forget about it, it's just a bunch of mythology, it's not really that important what the Founding Fathers did, they were all a bunch of racist hacks, that sort of attitude. And so I'm surprised that it was out there on the dollar racks. I'm surprised. But apparently the person just glanced at it and said, oh, American history, imperialist pigs, and threw it on the dollar racks. I'm really starting to get annoyed with them on all the books they put out there for me to buy. John Locke, Second Treatise of Government, several copies of that. Can't pass one up for $1. The Roman Mind, Studies in the History of Thought, from Cicero to Marcus Aurelius, by M.L. Clark. I thought that'd be interesting. There isn't such a thing as Roman philosophy. There are only amateurish Roman philosophers, would-be philosophers, or something like that. So there's some history of that stuff. Minds, Brains, and Science by John Searle. I had a nearly objectivist philosophy professor in my first year of college, clear back in 1999. And he loved Searle. And I read a couple of books by Searle because of the recommendation. And Searle is like an objectivist who uses academic speak. So the academicians don't realize he's an objectivist, and objectivists can't stand to read him because he's an academician. And it really goes to show that you have to be uncompromising in your view of ideas and reality, or else you won't get due rewards or something. I feel that the things he says are important enough that he would get more fame and more recognition if he wouldn't write in such academic nonsense tones. So check out John Searle sometime, if you can put up with his academic nonsense. American Economic History. This is a textbook by Jonathan Hughes and Louis P. Kane. Textbook on the economy. I thought that's great. I have to have that. Published probably 80s, 2003. Yikes, that might not be any good. That might be full of nonsense and crap. An Introduction to Poetry by Lewis Simpson. Normally, these are really, really bad, but this particular one spends about 3/4 of the book in the 1800s and earlier, about to there or so. Only the last quarter do they come into the 1900s. So, as a general rule, anything written before the year 1900 poetry-wise is at least worth a look. And to have, everybody from Shakespeare represented, George Herbert is represented, to have all those, and his opening essay is very short, and then he gets right to the poetry. So, for $1, why not? Heidegger and the Quest for Truth. Heidegger was a terrible, terrible Nazi. He was in the Nazi party, but not willfully, apparently. He didn't want to be. Sure. What is Called Thinking by Martin Heidegger. Yeah, what is that? What is called thinking? He doesn't have a clue, that's for sure. Some more by Kierkegaard, Soren Kierkegaard, The Point of View for My Work as an Author, A Report to History. I thought Kierkegaard was from like the 1400s or 1600s or 1700s at least, and now I'm not sure because of this, so I don't know. When was Kierkegaard? This book upsets me a bit. Perfect Condition, Washington's Crossing by David Hackett Fischer. Huge tome on, if you want to know about American history, this might be a book to read. Perfect Condition. It's got a few pencil marks in it, leads me to believe someone might have read it, but don't see any evidence of it having been read. Good cloth binding, a damn $1. Just a shame that they're leaving these books out there for me to buy. Okay, The Gateway to the Middle Ages. Italy. There's a small series of books about this, The Gateway to the Middle Ages. This, there's Spain and France and Germany, and it's just about the end of the Roman Empire and the coming of the Middle Ages. Like I said, there's a lot of people in New York apparently interested in the Middle Ages. On Translating Homer by Matthew Arnold. This isn't a translation of Homer. It's just talking about translating Homer, the difficulties or whatever. I thought no respectable Greek scholar would pass that up for $1, especially. Greek Tragedies, Volume 1. Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides, all represented there. Have some copies of that, building up those numbers for reading in class. England Under the Tudors by G.R. Elton. I was asked why so many books about England. Why do I buy those so often? I just about can't pass one up because America came from England, and it's we would do well to know about where we came from, I think. John Dewey, The School and Society, and The Child and the Curriculum. Both those essays are here. Child and the Curriculum, The School and Society, all of it crap. But I thought it might be good to read To Know Thy Enemy. I've read some of his stuff before, and I may have read one of those essays, I'm not sure. Religion in Primitive Society. This is a nice older book by Wilson D. Wallace, University of Minnesota. I don't know if it'll be any good. On the natural and the supernatural, sacred trees, sacred objects, sacred animals, offering and sacrifice, life after death, beliefs in pre-literate cultures. Could be interesting. It's not near the top of my list to read, but it's on my shelf now. The Oneida Community Profiles by Constance Noyes Robertson. Oneida. The Oneida, you may know, was a collectivist commune out in Illinois, I think. Upstate New York. They ended up making silverware, I think, to support the community. Because these communes never work. It's always a bunch of lazy people, and they are always nosy and into each other's business and criticizing each other for taking too much of the wealth and not producing enough wealth, and they're just, those communities just don't work. The